Hello, golf fanatics. Billy Hose here. Another preview and research show for the 2024 PGA season. We're heading over to the Arnold Palmer Invitational. This is the second event of the Florida Swing. This week's Arnold Palmer at Bay Hill Country Club in Orlando, Florida. This edition of Arnie's tournament is going to be a limited field signature event. Minimum of 69 players. I don't know how it's going to all shake out with the results today. I think Keith Mitchell might have got knocked off the cut line there, and somebody else got up in there. EVR got in with the top five. There was some late runners there as well. Minwoo Lee. So this field is going to be similar, but I don't believe we're going to have the 10-shot rule. There is going to be a 36-hole cut. Arnie insisted on that. So, quick plug. Check out the horse racing content on Billy Hole Sports. It's fire. Derby's coming soon. You'll get all of the best coverage here. I'm a stone's throw away from Churchill Downs, so I've got a lot of local knowledge if you're attending the event, you know, things to do, whatever. So check out the videos. I'll probably be putting some, you know, esoteric type stuff out there for the Derby Festival events and whatnot. Also, 2 weeks later is the PGA Championship. As you know, I cover daily fantasy sports, PGA golf. So my hometown, once again, Valhalla, hosting that tournament. So I've been there several times. I was there back in 2014 when Rory McIlroy won it. So anyway, we're going to get into the field here in just momentarily. Want to cover last week's finish today. Big Monday finish for Austin Eckroat, who pretty much did what he needed to do, and everybody else kind of fell apart around him. Couple of late comers, but he was too far ahead to really have anybody threatening him. So he continues the year of the breakthrough. Just let me lay it out for you. Grayson Murray, lightning in a bottle at Sony. Nick Fuzzy Dunlop no longer needs to run his credit victory at the Amex. He's got the Platinum Card Plus. And then ain't no escaping the French connection at Torrey Pines. Matthew Pavon hoists the trophy there. Last week, Jake the Snake Knapp asphyxiated the field in Mexico. So it's been a wild year, and I think Bay Hill is not going to be any different. So anyway, before we get going, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, set those notifications, and in the comment section, tell me where you would play or plan on playing Rory McIlroy in your one and done. Is it going to be this week at Bay Hill, where he has a great history and a win in 2018? Are you going to wait for that PGA Championship at Valhalla, where he won in 2014? Or do you think that this is finally the year he completes that Grand Slam and wins the Masters tournament? Let's go. Okay, Bay Hill is a classical Florida setup, but it has had its share of changes over the years. 2019 saw some new tee boxes on the par 5 fourth, moving the yardage up from 561 to 590, making that one a little more difficult. 2022, the short number par 4 13th jumped up to 382 yards, just about a 15-yard gain there. This course is long, par 72, 7,466 yards. A lot of forced layups, and you have to remember it's not one of those elevation courses like out in Mexico or Vegas or wherever where you're going to hit it 10 or 15 yards farther automatically. It is Florida sea level. There's 9 holes with water in play, but there maybe more affecting the outcome depending on what the weather does. I'll post the weather as we go along, and you can take a look. It doesn't look too awfully bad at the beginning of the tournament, but maybe over the weekend we'll get a little windier conditions. Bermuda fairways, pretty generous, 33 yards wide. The rough is Bermuda with some overseeded ryegrass, 3 inches tall. Not horribly bad, but if you get stuck in the wrong spot, you will have a tough time and you will be hacking out. Greens are 7,500 square feet. Tiff Eagle Bermuda grass, I think will be somewhat similar in contour and speed as PGA National for the Cognizant last week. So, flying over the course, you can see how much water is in play, affecting off the tee and on approach. They just get around there just to the right or just to the left, mostly on the right-hand side, affecting those tee shots. Guys have that tendency to hit that big high fade, and sometimes they don't bite off far enough, and you will get balls in the water. The course does favor big hitters, but if you're long enough, like a guy like Terrell Hatton or even Frankie Molinari back in 2019, you can still get it done with some good around the green and long irons. One thing I do kind of miss with the whole live tournament thing is the beefed up Bryson year, DeChambeau back in 21, when he just hammer timed his drive on hole number 6 and went over the water on the longest part, almost driving the green into the bunker. And I can't remember if it was the second bunker by the tree or the bunker that was closer, but I thought he was 30, 40 yards away from, he thought he drove the green, but he did exactly. And I don't even recall if he made birdie there because he was really hamstringing himself going over that water where he didn't have a good angle into the green wherever the pin was placed. So, like I said, the course is long enough. Driving distance is down due to some forced layup holes, like on number 18, where you don't want to mess with that water on the right, especially on the weekend. Your second shot is across that pond, so you already have that in play as well. So we're going to take a look at the screen and see what kind of stats we're working with. Okay, so this we have Bay Hill. You can see there's only a couple of holes. The par fives are the key to doing any kind of scoring at all. You just kind of want to hold down the fort on the par fours and threes. Take advantage of opportunities when you get good looks on those. Most definitely, you can be aggressive if you do get the right position off the tee long enough, all that good stuff. You can see the putting, the scrambling, defensive stats. A lot of similar clubs that were used in Mexico. I'll be showing Fantasy National stats as we go along here as well, and what kind of hole locations and birdie or better percentages and all that kind of good stuff. This is last week's field, so Billy Horschel, unfortunately, not playing. Shout out Billy Ho for at least getting that top 20 for me. I did bet him at 80-1 to win, but he was pretty much after that 71 or something he shot on Friday. He was just a little bit too far out of it. Didn't take advantage of some good eagle looks, but Billy's getting there. So these are just guys like Minwoo. Some of these guys are in the tournament next, but that's not the important thing I want to look at. You can see off the tee for all 18 holes, the fairway hit percentages. They're pretty high in some instances, like 16 and 18. I mean, all these ones you see in the high 70s are the ones that are going to be taken advantage of on the driving, especially on this 10th. They're just going to try to hit as far as possible because the rough's not all that penal. But then you have the average distance to the hole. So you're going to see a lot of 160, 178, 160, 150 through 200 is the bucket. I know there's two buckets, but 150 through 200 is what I'm looking at. I'm not so much looking at 200 plus because I feel like that a lot of times that's going to be the short knockers on the long par fours and guys on par fives. I don't really 225, who's the best proximity at 225 out is not my main concern. It's can you get up and down once you get up there, whether you hit the green or not. Obviously, greens and regulation are somewhat important, but like I said, defensive stats need to be calculated as well. Scrambling from inside 30 yards, sand saves, 3-putt avoidance, putting from 10 to 15 feet. Would not hurt to be jumping on those par fours from 450 to 500. There are more of those than any others. So if you look at those, then you're most definitely looking at guys that hit the ball long off the tee and that can handle those long approach shots. So when you get into players, pricing is out. Billy Ho contest is out. Make sure you join up. So shout out my man James, Degenerate 75. I hope he's feeling better. Haven't heard any latest updates, but I did not see a contest for his Showdown Hoedown last week. So if they don't run it again, you're more than welcome to jump in mine. It's only a single entry. It's only $2, but it's a pretty good field and a fun tournament. So anyway, that said, I think as far as course history goes, once you play this course a few times, it's a good venue to count on some course history with. You got guys like Rory, Scotty, long hitters that can thrive. Rory's won here, Scotty's won here. Kurt Kitayama won last year with some really stellar play and some timely putting. Guys like Harris English and Keegan Bradley play well here. Benny On has some back class as well. And I did not quite see where Benny On was priced, 7,600. So that's kind of a cutoff point. But later on, I'm going to give kind of like a little player pool. And basically, what I did was just put a handful of guys up there that I saw off the bat, 8,500 and up, and then 7,500 and down. So Benny On might be in that 7,500 and down, but he's just 76. So he'll make that cut. But you can see over here, he wasn't very good last year at this time, but missing the cut. But he does have some good back class here. He's got a T10 back in 2019. And with his form and the way he's putting now, he was actually a plus 0.7 at the Cognizant just this last week, which is similar greens, in my opinion. So if he's a positive outcome on the putter, he is absolutely hammer timed it on the ball striking. He gains 4 to 6 strokes ball striking every time he plays here. So he's another guy that I think is going to play well and seemingly having those positive gains on the greens. So not a guy I'd pick in one and done or anything like that, but he could hit an optimal lineup. Another guy who's kind of interesting, who's way down here, a guy that used to be he's kind of been pointed out as maybe slightly fraudulent, but he would be in this 8K range somewhere. You guarantee it. But he has gotten kicked all the way down to 6,600 Minwoo Lee, and he had a hot fire weekend. He is going to be massively owned this week. He finished T2. He got the irons rolling finally, gained over 4 strokes with the irons last week. EVR with another T2. I mean, you can play these two guys in a lineup, and then you can do whatever the hell you want to do. So I'll be really interested to see where allegiances lie as far as the percentages go. But also, like I said, Kurt Kitayama, these 7,500 range. I mean, you've got Shane Lowry, who was really good last week. Like I said, Benny On. Then you have Keegan, Harris English, Kitayama, all guys. Hogard projects out really good here, even though he's only seen it once and missed a cut. I don't know about Jaeger. These low 7K guys, I'm not really sure. Not rolling with Bez. He let me down last week, but this is not the course for him. Although he has had some good history back here. I don't know why. I'd have to go back and look and see why he only finished at 1 under on a course he should have played much better on. Luke List is interesting, I think, as far as he hits it. He's got a T2 at Genesis, and he's got some top 10 back class too. So he goes as the putter goes, similar to Benny On in that respect. Down here a little more, Patrick Rogers is showing a little resurgency, but I think what I said back in Mexico was I think I'll only be playing Patrick Rogers in these similar weaker field events on easier courses. I don't think I'm going to be messing with him here, even though he does have several made cuts. And way down here, you got like Sepp Straka even. But the guys down here I kind of liked, and you'll see on the list as I go to the end of the show, Taylor Moore, Adam Shank, guys that can hit it pretty far and that are really good grinders on these courses that maybe had some mid-30s but could spike in a smaller field if they get the right setup for them. So other guys like Jake Knapp and stuff, they might be really popular. Ekro, who just won, you never know. He's coming right back, how they handle victory and all that kind of good stuff. But that's the cheat sheet. We looked at some key stats, and I just wanted to take a look. Here's the contest is out already. So just looking at just some quick pricing, you can see all the guys up top. You know, Scheffler, Rory. This might be a good week to fire Rory with the was that $700 discount on Scotty. Rory lost over 3 putting last week, and he had that one colossal mistake where he tried to play out of the water around the green and then made a triple bogey. So if he would have just putted a little better and not been such a dumbass on that hole, which he has made catastrophic mistakes in almost every golf tournament since he's hit the States in 2024, whether it's been a two-stroke penalty for doing something stupid, I forgot what it was, or he had like a triple bogey at somewhere else here or there, like the one he just had over the weekend. Not sure what that's all about, but he's the kind of guy that I think will get dialed in. I think he just tries to play too much hero golf sometimes. This course he's really comfortable at, so he's a guy that I'm really strong on up here. Maybe more stronger than on him than Scheffler, which is hard for me to say because Scheffler's been so much more consistent. He always seems to be in the top 10, where Rory can get you that T17 to T25 finish, even though he was right in the mix over the weekend. Aberg's another guy people will look at, but at 9,500, there's just too many other talents in here that you can play. I mean, you can play Max Homa, who's had great success here. I'm not sure I'm down with Justin Thomas. He kind of reverted back to the old JT, missing the cut and costing everybody big time at Genesis. So he's moving back over, and he's had some success. He lives in Florida, so he might be a guy that you keep an eye on ownership there. Willie Z looking good. He's a great course fit. Everybody loves Tommy Fleetwood, but this is not the spot for him to win. Cam Young can compete in these big fields. I love Matt Fitzpatrick this week. He's got the great course history, and he definitely has had it improved in his ball striking and whatnot. He had a pretty good run there over the weekend. Just didn't quite get everything to fall his way. Wyndham Clark has somewhat struggled this year, even though he stole a 54-hole tournament. Hideki's got to win. I mean, a lot of these guys down here can all play. Tom Kim. This is really, 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 really a strong field. But somebody like Jake Knapp, I would play on over Knapp, honestly. Siwoo Kim does not have good history here, so I will probably not be going Siwoo. So Keegan Bradley, he's been kind of quiet lately. People might forget about him. Last year's winner, Kitayama, has not missed a cut. He's got 5 cuts made in his 2024 season. Harris English seems to be back, and like he was a few years ago when he's winning before he had the hip injury. Hogard's way down here in price. Fowler's way down here in price. I think Fowler could play here if he had the opportunity at 7,100. We can take a quick peek at Ricky, Pretty Ricky. So he's got some decent finishes, not really super great, but probably not a guy I'd super trust anyway. Definitely not out on Bez. But then you get down here and it's EVR and Min Woo, really. Cam Davis might be interesting here, but I would prefer Cam Davis on bent grass surfaces more. Other guys like Putnam and Svensson seem to be popping in models, but I don't know. But a guy I really like on tough courses is Taylor Moore, and he's been having really some good success here lately. Genesis, solid. Waste management. I mean, he's just kind of been solid. He doesn't make a lot of huge mistakes. He's got a double here or there, but he's just maybe not a guy that'll fire off, 20. He did make 23 birdies at Century, but he's not a guy that's going to make 27 birdies at a Mexico or one of them birdie fests. But this is the type of place where he could shoot 7 to 9 under and finish top 10. Adam Shank, he seems to be due for a breakout. Valley Mackey almost won. He hits it long off the tee. Now, way down here, I don't know. CT Pan it definitely had a resurgence, and he's a guy that can defy the not being long off the tee odds to help you out. So those are a whole bunch of dudes and to go through, and I'll finish out the show. You can check out the big board in the back, and if you're listening in the car or whatever, when you get home, throw on your YouTube channel and rewatch the video. Let it play all the way through till you get to the end. Then you'll see my top and bottom player pool. So hopefully that will help you out. And best of luck this week on all your DFS gambling endeavors and all that kind of good stuff. Be on the lookout for more Derby content coming up. I've got a weekly Kentucky Derby update. We had several big prep races and a ton of freaking scratches over the weekend and all these horses. What are we going to do about all this? So anyway, stick around to find out. And until next time, see you soon.